What's up, guys? My name is Ryan. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here tonight, I'm here with Josh, and I don't know if you can see Luke, but he's back. He's over here. You haven't seen him in a while, but he's back. Tonight we are reviewing a film that I was very excited to see. Now You See Me 3, or Now You See Me Now You Don't. That's what we're going to be talking about. And spoiler alert, by the way, if you have not seen the film. Fellas, who wants to go first? Y'all want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. The first one, I thought it was okay, but I didn't really care for. Second one, I had a lot of fun with. And that's what happened with this third one. I had a lot of fun with it. There's not a lot of emotional depth to them. They're just kind of fun magician heist films with these Robin Hood type characters. I think that's a very interesting, fun concept. And there's some things in these films that don't always make a lot of sense, but for me, it doesn't bother me that much. For me, the films are just about the fun heists and just the stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. This film just was kind of what the previous two films were, is just having fun with that concept. The heists and the set pieces were really fun. Some were very visually pleasing. And the cast here is just fun. This is just a fun cast for a film like this. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, what's Jack's name? Do you remember the actor's name for Jack, Josh? I don't remember his name.
Jesse Eisenberg. No, I'm joking.
No, oh my gosh. Gosh, I feel so bad because I even remember
Woody Harrelson.
Side characters' names, and I don't remember his name. But the actor for Jack did a really good job, and the new characters they bring in...
James Franco.
No, it wasn't James Franco. No, it wasn't. It wasn't not James Franco.
Dave Franco.
Dave.
It's his brother for sure. It's one of the...
That sounds right. Okay, Dave Franco did a really good job. And the new characters they bring into this film, I always think it's a fun and interesting concept, bringing in new characters and having the old characters teach the younger generation. And I think that was a lot of fun to see here. I especially loved Ariana Greenblatt's character, mostly because I grew up with her on the Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle, so it's fun for me to see those Disney Channel actors do something more mainstream and get into movies and all that. But they were really fun characters for the most part. And there were a lot of fun surprises. They brought back some characters from previous films, most notably, what's her name?
Lula.
Lizzie Kaplan's character, Lula, from the second film, who I really enjoyed. And fun fact, she was actually in a couple episodes of my favorite show of all time, that being Smallville. So once again, just love seeing her here. This was probably the most emotional of the three films, I would say. Surprisingly, it had a bit more emotion to it. And the Horsemen, you see that they actually do care for each other, and they are like a family, which I really enjoyed. But my main criticism with this film is I feel like when those emotional moments happened, like I felt like they were kind of a bit rushed, and they didn't take their time to really sit and soak it in and let you take it in and feel the emotion you were supposed to feel. That's where most of my criticism for the film lies. We were talking about this before we started, when we were walking over here to film the review. Josh brought out how Hollywood consistently does this thing where they bring in new characters and have the old characters teach the younger and everything, but there are some moments in this film where the new kids do stuff better than the more experienced people, and it's just kind of like very unrealistic. Very unrealistic. I said I enjoy them for the most part, but there were some moments where I'm just going, come on, really? How are they doing this better than the original characters, you know? And that's a consistent thing throughout films and TV shows in Hollywood, and most of the time it doesn't really make sense, and this is one of those times where it didn't really make any sense. Another criticism, so with Isla Fisher's character, so she was absent in the second film, and apparently it was because she quit the Horsemen to live a nice, normal suburban life. She got married, had kids and all that, and she said she quit the Horsemen to live that life because being a horseman is so dangerous because she's on the run from the law and everything. But she gets pulled back into it, and she says yes, and it's like, what the heck? What? You're still married, you still have kids, why are you getting back involved in this dangerous life? Like, I just didn't get that. Did y'all, either of y'all get that?
No, it's plot convenience.
Yeah, I'm just
Don't
why
try to
is
make
Isla
sense of it.
Fisher's character in this film? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I knew she was gonna be in it, but I'm like, are they gonna explain it in a way that makes sense in the film?
No.
And I'm just like, okay, fine.
No.
Isla Fisher's just here. Isla Fisher's just here. It doesn't make sense, but once again, that's kind of just these films. They don't make a lot of sense. They're just a lot of fun. Overall, still just a another fun Now You See Me film. I think I'd give it probably a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Controversial, but probably one of my favorite films of the year. The word that comes to mind when I think of this film is just fun. Just a fun movie. Luke, my friend. So, first tell us your any past history with the Now You See Me movies. Have you seen the previous two?
Let me tell you firsthand that I've experienced it firsthand. Seeing the first and the second is necessary.
Yes, I would say so.
There's probably some things that I probably would have understood if I had seen them. So I'll recommend and myself go back, watch 1, watch 2, and then watch 3 again on a rewatch before giving it a proper rating.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But this film in particular, seeing it just now with not seeing the previous 2 films, what did you think?
It was fun. I enjoyed it, and it gave us the escape room feel. It kind of gives us a little throwback to that escape room that we did recently.
Oh, yeah, we did an escape room a long time ago. Memories.
Yes. There were a couple times in the movie I really enjoyed how they showed scenes of how all the magic tricks happened.
Yes.
I gotta watch it again before giving those kind of criticisms, but like a lot of those things surprised me. I would say maybe other people might not be as surprised when you come to think about it at some of those tricks that were in there. But I would say it was pretty impressive. But I'll have to give 1, 2 a watch before giving a proper rating.
That's another thing. I forgot about that. I feel like with these movies, they explain like the big magic tricks, but the smaller tricks, they don't explain. Like, for example, when they're in that like magic house museum type thing, and they're doing all these magic tricks, they're taking turns doing magic tricks trying to impress each other, right? Like, when Isla Fisher's character, all of a sudden, just her dress turns into a white dress, like, they don't explain the little stuff like that, but the big, like, heists and tricks and everything they do explain. That's another criticism you reminded me of real quick. Josh, my friend.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Now You See Me, Now You Don't? Now, first, have you seen the previous 2 films?
I've seen the first one. I want to actually say that when you were describing the second film, I might have seen the second film because there were things that you said where I'm like, I remember that though, like with Mark Ruffalo's character and things of this nature. So maybe I have seen the parts of the second film, but I don't remember it that well at all. I remember the first film, but I don't remember the second film that well. But for the third film, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, I thought this film was pretty enjoyable. I thought, I'm a big fan of the escape room / mystery / magic aesthetic that this film provides and that the Now You See Me franchise provides. So I think it's always going to be tough for me to have a bad time with a film like this. But I do have some gripes, and I have one big gripe. And Ryan kind of alluded to it with this new cast of characters, the new horsemen, if you will. Hollywood does this thing where there will be an old cast of characters and an old, pretty well-established franchise, and to make it fresh, to make it spicy, they will try and introduce a new set of characters. One of the biggest problems with how Hollywood has been introducing new sets of characters recently is that they have made them perfect from the get-go. They have made them infallible from the get-go.
Yeah.
There is no character development for them. They are just good as they are, out the box. This is one of the things that happened in the Star Wars film with Rey in the new trilogy, right? She just has the ability. She just knows all this.
I'm not a Star Wars guy, so I wouldn't
so
know.
if you,
I believe you.
This happened in that film franchise in Star Wars with Rey, and people know what I'm talking about. She just has everything out the box. Doesn't really have to struggle and go through training. This has happened countless other film franchises as well in the modern recency. So I'm a bit fatigued by it, and I'm a bit tired of Hollywood doing this, because this would have been, especially with this Now You See Me, this is a perfect this is like a realistic thing. Like magic and magicians, those are people who actually exist in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like Star Wars is a fictional universe. This is actually real life. Typically, you would think that, well, a magician trains another magician, right? To learn stuff. Well, I would like to have thought that, or what I think would have been better, is if that the horsemen would have trained the new people that were coming up. And let's say that the new cast of characters has a problem, or they can't figure something out. Well, then the old horsemen have to teach them the new tricks, or have to teach them what they know. But that's not what Hollywood does in this film, and that's not what the director shows. The director just says, you know what, they just know everything out the gate. They don't need any training. And I don't think that's a good, I think that's actually really lazy, and I think it's really bad filmmaking to do that.
And unrealistic.
And very unrealistic, for sure. And there are other things that happen in here that just don't make sense. For example, they have this short little girl who's about 5'1", maybe 5'3", right?
Ariana Greenblatt's
Ariana
character.
Greenblatt, yeah, and she beats 5 or 6 like well-trained, highly trained police officers, French police officers, no problem, in a fight. That's crazy. That's just insane. That's just insanity. And by the way, she didn't use magic to do this. This is the other part. You would think, oh, does she use magic to do this? Like, you know, at the end of the film, spoiler, the guy who gets brought into the police car, I forget his name, man.
To the police car?
Yes, he gets put in the police car and he gets all the handcuffs off of him, but he gets the handcuffs onto everybody else. Bosco's character. He used magic, per se, right?
Yeah.
Or his magical sleight of hand to get himself out of this predicament. That's not what happened in that part of the film. You know what? She actually just straight up beats these guys. That's crazy. That is just the craziest thing. So I think that the film had, and I don't like saying this, but I just think, like, I don't know what the crap Hollywood's doing with this type of decision making. I just don't agree with it at all. So I think from that reason, and because I'm so fatigued from seeing it over and over again, I'm giving the film a 6 out of 10. I enjoy it on a personal level because of the genre it's in, but in the base of its execution, it does some things well. I like the final trick. The final reveal is pretty cool, the way they put it all together. And then also the plot twist of Charlie being a Vanderberg and actually being the son, you know, pretty cool. But this other crap that's happening where they're all just coming out the gate and they just can do everything perfectly and they can do no wrong, I just don't agree with that. That's just not it.
Yeah.
They need to stop doing that in Hollywood because it's really robbing us of great stories, and also it robs us of the what? This is very important, Ryan. What's it called when the hero has to go through a trial? The hero's journey.
The hero's journey, yeah.
This is the hero's journey. This robs us
That's
of
like the template for a movie.
Yeah, this robs us of the hero's journey. One of the things that makes characters compelling is that there is a journey, that there is struggle, that there is trial, that they're not perfect, that they are flawed, that they have to learn. If you don't have to learn anything, then what the crap is there to talk? You know what I mean? This is the really boring character. It's basically just a perfect character. Now, mind you, I don't think this film franchise is, since they're on their 3rd one, is trying to necessarily say, well, oh my gosh, we're gonna make a film about magicians learning, right? I don't think that's their goal, but I think that it could have made for a more interesting film if we learned how these guys got to where they're at, where they struggle, how they're gonna get to be a better magician. So that's just some of my thoughts.
Josh, you touched on something really good. I think that when they do stuff like that and make the kind of newer generation perfect, and like they can't learn anything from the previous generation, the more experienced people, that communicates a really bad and untrue message that we can't learn anything from older people in our lives, like our parents. It's kind of like communicating the message that, oh, the younger generation knows better, and that's not true. For example, like your parents have done life before. Like, they know how it's going to be. You can learn a lot from them and from other older authority figures in your life. So I think that what you're saying, like them making these new characters like pretty much perfect, robs us of that really good lesson that we can learn from people who have experienced life before and done this before.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just principle of life. Everything that you have learned
Was from somebody else, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. So if that's the case, then why does that not happen in movies? You see what I'm saying? That's just crazy to me.
I think that's all we have to say about Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and let us know down below what you think of Now You See Me, Now You Don't, if you've seen it. Right, here's our previous review for... What did we see last week, Josh? Help me out here. Sarah's Oil. Thanks for your help, Josh. Right, here's a playlist of all the films we reviewed this year. Click right here to subscribe, and y'all have a blessed one, guys. We'll see y'all in the next video.